It is a great honor and a privilege to have Evelyn Savir. Evelyn, your dear husband, Uri, was the ambassador in Eritrea. And he was also in the diplomatic corps in Asia for many years.
Right, right.
And you got married during the Yom Kippur War.
During the Yom Kippur War, next Tuesday we are celebrating 50 years of our wedding anniversary. I flew into Israel from Switzerland with one suitcase and one white dress to marry Uri during the war. He had permission just for the wedding. He came to pick me up at the airport on 1st of November. I couldn't recognize him. Where was the handsome diplomat? He had beard. His clothes were smelling of grease. He was in artillery. Anyway, he took me to his parents, and I didn't see him until the wedding, which was the 7th of November. And we had very few guests. It was at Beit Agron. My father-in-law was an engineer. He was a lecturer at Kiryat Noar. Kiryat Noar, the young man's vocational school. And then we had the rabbis from Kiryat Noar. We had very few guests. He was a member of the Engineers Association, so we got Beit Agron, which was called then Beit HaMehandes, and there we got married. Now we have a story with the cake. We have pictures with standing near a 3 layers cake, and then when we tried to cut the cake, it was dry because probably it was made for previous weddings who were cancelled. But then I said, I'm a daughter of a Holocaust survivor. I'm not going to throw away a whole cake. So he took the cake and he put it in his army bag, took it back to Ramat HaGolan. He was then in Ramat HaGolan. And then the soldiers managed to cut it and dip the cake into tea. So all these soldiers enjoyed our wedding cake.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Evelyn, Uri was the ambassador in Eritrea.
Yes, that was 22 years ago. And in those days, there was a draft of young women for the army. They had problems with Ethiopia, and then our staff, especially young ladies, they were a little worried to be drafted. Now one day, his personal secretary, can I say the name? But I hope it won't make her trouble.
No, not at all.
Tigoreda Tikleab, she was called. She disappeared, and apparently she was drafted. Now the Eritrean Foreign Ministry said that if someone is missing very badly, an employee, they might consider to release the person. So Uri went up to the Minister of Defense and asked to have this young lady released. She was his personal secretary for everything except Hebrew. So he insisted to have her released, and actually she was released, and she was always very thankful. Now she came here in Israel about 15 years ago to visit the holy places. She's Christian, and she stayed over with one of the other ambassadors, and she went with us to see the old city, the holy places, and then we haven't heard from her. Now 2 days ago she sent me a WhatsApp message saying how she's worried about what's happening here in the country, how are we, how is Ambassador Uri, how are our children, our grandchildren, how much she's missing us, and how thankful she is for everything. And she wants to stay in contact, stay in touch. And I was extremely moved that after 22 years, she's sending us a message of peace, of love, of appreciation for what Uri did for her so many years ago.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful, lovely story.
Right. So let's hope that we'll hear bsorot tovot and that our soldiers will come home safely and that we will have eventually peace in this part of the world.
Please God, the hostages will come back.
And that the hostages will be back. All the hostages will go home be back with their families.
Please God.
Please God. I would just like to add that I'm an only daughter of a Holocaust survivor. My mom was a Holocaust survivor, and I did what I wanted to do, which to create a Jewish family in Eretz Israel. We are fortunate to have 5 grandchildren. Unfortunately, we lost our son, Lieutenant Colonel Savir, of blessed memory, who actually was instrumental in building the fortification around Gaza. He passed away 10 years ago from a heart attack, and he left us 2 lovely little girls, our granddaughter. So we had a great tragedy in our family, which we still suffer until today. But I have a lot to thank God for what we are today and the grandchildren we have. Let them all be in good health, and let all Am Israel Chai. And this was for me also a victory, and for my mom a victory over death, to raise me in a Jewish tradition and to take care and that I would marry a Jewish man. Didn't matter where he comes from, a good, straightforward, honest Jewish man, and build a Jewish family. So I'm happy for what I have achieved, that I'm still around, and we still have our beautiful family with excellent mechutanim, family of my in-laws' families, including the family of my late son. My daughter-in-law is a wonderful young woman. I love her as much as a daughter, and her family is also wonderful people, good-hearted, straightforward, honest, good people. So thanks God for what we have and for what we are, and that I have built this lovely family in Eretz Israel, Jewish family.
Evelyn, you are inspiration to all of us.
Okay.